about a friend I used to know who lived and suffered down in this world below. Now they're gone, and I want to know, what are they doing now? What are they doing right now? Tell me, what are they doing in heaven today, where sin and sorrow have gone away? Peace abounds like a river, they say. What are they doing now? What are they doing right now? There were some whose bodies was filled with disease. No doctor or medicine would give them no ease. They lived and suffered till death brought a final release. Tell me, what are they doing now? What are they doing right now? Tell me, what are they doing in heaven today, where sin and sorrow have gone away? Peace abounds like a river, they say. What are they doing now? What are they doing right now? Tell me, what are they doing in heaven today, where sin and sorrow have gone away? Peace abounds like a river, they say. What are they doing now? What are they doing right now? Thank you. You guys know where Rolling Hills Church is? It's up on 611 there. I'm playing a Christmas concert there tomorrow at 4. And we'll do Christmas songs. I'll play, on the tipple and the guitar, and maybe even the keyboard, I don't know. And then we'll sing along. They would like to do that. Speaking of my uncle's guitar, here it is. It was made in Madrid, Spain. My uncle was a well-known hematologist, which is a blood doctor. A lot of you know that. He was a decorated war hero. He was a veteran of the Korean War, where he was hit by a mortar shell and it broke every bone in his body. He got shipped back to our country strapped to a board. And he was a rough and tumble guy. I believe, not to get unpleasant, but I believe he was abused as a child. His parents were both alcoholics, raging alcoholics. When my uncle and my aunt got married, his mother arrived late to the wedding and insisted that they weren't married because she didn't see it. Ma Kyun. And so my grandfather, who had performed the ceremony, said, let's just do it again up on the 3rd floor for her. So these are the kind of colorful things that happened to my uncle throughout the years. When he met my aunt, I believe they met in Boston. He was an atheist, had no interest in religion, and this was a stumbling block in the 1950s because my Aunt Martha came from a religious family. My grandfather was an elder in the church, and as much as they loved each other, the fact was, in those days, there was an element there where she would not get married to a non-Christian. That's how long ago that was. And so when he went off to war, and he was a sniper, they started writing every day. She started writing him every day. And we're praying for you. And he was like, oh, brother, here they go again. And they sent Bible tracts in the letters. Ooh, that'll get him saved, right? Have you ever read one of those Bible tracts? Some of them are really terrible. Some of them are great. I'm not going to get down on them. But so one night he's up in a tree in North Korea, and he reads this letter. Dear Mike, we're praying for you, and I can't wait to see you again. Love, Martha. And my grandfather wrote a couple of lines in there too, you know. There's the Bible tract. He crumbled it up and threw it away. And then he got hit by a mortar shell in the leg. And they sent him over to the port, strapped to a board. They were loading him on the ship for home. And this soldier said, Sarge, here's something for you to read on the way home. And he handed him the same Bible tract. It was crumpled up with mud and blood on it. And my uncle said, you know, I think maybe I'll read this. And that was the beginning of his lifelong faith journey. And he became a fervent believer. And then he flew his own private plane to a Bible camp in Wisconsin with my aunt and my 6 cousins, and they crashed. And this is his guitar. I inherited it. One of the people at his funeral, one of the elders said they had their own private rapture. He'd be very happy to know that I'm playing this guitar for you tonight. And he'd be happy to know that I've recorded a lot of songs on my Christmas album on this guitar. That's my guitar's favorite song. Actually, this one is. I'll do one more Christmas carol for you. A few years ago, I received a phone call at my house. I live in Point Pleasant, Pennsylvania, right down the road from here. And I got a phone call, and caller ID now, and the name on it was Trudy Taylor. It's like, oh no, is this who I think it is? And it was Trudy Taylor, James Taylor's mother, calling me to thank me for my Christmas album. And I said, Mrs. Taylor, do you have any advice? And she said, yes. No, I didn't say that. I'm totally wrong. Let me tell you the truth here. I heard her say, can I give you some advice? And I said, yes, Mrs. Taylor, please, I'm all ears. She said, don't forget people in nursing homes. I said, I played a nursing home last Wednesday. Next. And she said, don't forget to play music for teenagers in your living room. I said, you're right. She said, they all have those earbuds in. You get them to take those out and listen to music in your living room. This is actually my favorite Christmas carol to play on my uncle's guitar here. Thank you. There's always a chance that that one is going to go off the rails, and it did for a moment there. Stories is how this gig has been advertised. And Brother Don has picked up on that, yeah, I am a storyteller, sometimes to a fault. After a couple of cups of coffee, you can't shut me up. I had a radio show for 5 years on WDVR. Do any of you guys know DVR? Really? You never heard WDVR over in Delaware Township, New Jersey? It's a great little station. The transmitter is run by two gerbils on a treadmill. So it has a limited broadcast range. Let me find something while I'm thinking of this story. Oh, this says Karen's place. I was talking to John Kunzo, telling him, that now in the high-tech world, there are people going into a club with and then texting their set list to the audience. Bear with me for a moment. The fact is, I don't cotton to that. Has anybody said that to you in the last? I don't want people to know my set list. It kind of removes some of the happy surprise that you can get when you hear a song that you didn't know you were going to hear. I was sitting in a publisher's office in Nashville with the president of the company, and this guy said to me, when he heard that I had a love of the blues and that I wrote some blues, etc., he said, "Oh, I don't know. Can a Christian really get the blues?" I don't know if I answered him or not. I sat there stunned. There is an entire book called Lamentations, sir. And there's a lot of psalms that are blues. So I'm going to play a blues that I wrote this year for you. This is called This Side of Heaven, because guess what? This side of heaven, Christians do get the blues sometimes. I'll walk on streets of gold, yeah. I won't get any older. But this side of heaven, I will sing the blues. I will lay my burden down. I'll trade my troubles for a crown. And this side of heaven, I will sing the blues, yeah. My home isn't in this world. I'm headed over yonder. But as I walk this earth, I still got some points to ponder. Someday I'll see my Savior face to face. In the meantime, I'm still in this human race. And this side of heaven, I will sing the blues. I'm gonna play the blues for you now. Pickett Wilson. I'm headed over yonder. As I walk this earth. I still got some points to ponder, baby. Someday I'll see my Savior face to face. In the meantime, I'm still in this human race. This side of heaven, I will sing the blues, yeah. This side of heaven, I will sing the Thank you. Does every story that you tell in a Christian coffee house have to have some spiritual meaning and connotation? No. That's didacticism, it's called. I'm just going to tell you a story that might just amuse you tonight. Story of an incident in central New Jersey when I was playing a wedding with 3 other guys at a beautiful, opulent place. I can't remember the name of it now, but it was in Bridgewater, and it was marble and gold railings, hand railings, etc. It was a hot summer day, and at the during the break, they had even given my band a little table, and they're giving us food, and we're at the bottom of this curved marble staircase. And I look up at the top of the staircase, and I see the grandmother of the groom, and I have a little bit of radar for this kind of thing. I see that she's about to faint. And yes, to kind of put a point to it, I have caught fainting people 3 times in my life. Just keep your eyes open. You'll find one sooner or later. And it's always fun when you do it. The first thing you realize when you catch a fainting person is you can't hold them. So I ran up the stairs at top speed. I see her going. My band is looking at me like, what is Chip doing? And in total confusion, I run up and she falls into my arms at the top of this staircase. She's like 90 years old. She would have killed herself. And I go, I can't hold her as I'm going down. And then they come up. Oh, there's the drummer. There's the bass player. They're getting her legs out from under her. And we get her down to the bottom of the stairs, lay her out on the floor, and she starts choking. She's on her back like this. So I ran into the office. The door was open. I call 911. And within minutes, the emergency response comes in. They all work around her, and they get her up, and she sits up. Grandma's alive. Everybody applauds in great joy and thanksgiving. And as one of the young EMT workers, a 23-year-old girl, she's leaving, I said, what happened? What was wrong? And she looks at me and rolls her eyes, and she goes, she had long woolen underwear on under her dress. It's 95 degrees out. So we play the rest of the wedding, and now the party is raging because everybody's happy, and we're doing an encore. I think we got paid to do overtime. They wanted to keep partying. They're dancing. And we go, and the wedding ends, and we're sitting there, the reception ends, and we're loosening our ties. And I said, was that a trip or not of a wedding? And I see this well-dressed gentleman walking towards us, and he goes, who called 911? My hand shot up. I was like thinking $100 tip, maybe, at least my name in the local paper, and thank you from the gathered families. My hand shoots up, and the guy just says to me, only in Central Jersey can this happen. Don't ever go in the office again when the safe is opened. And my thought balloon was, okay, next time I'll just let the old lady die. No, I didn't think that. Did I say that? That's not the Christian thing to say. No reward, no nothing, no thanks. Just a criticism. Don't go in the office when the safe is open. I caught a guy, fantastic man, at church. I caught him. He was going during the last prayer, the closing prayer. Les was his name. Decorated war hero from World War II. I could see he was going, and he goes over in my arms. I prop him up. Same thing, they call people to come. And what does he say? I didn't have any breakfast this morning. I'm like, Les, at least have a banana or something next time. I love those old soul, like, spiritual songs like What Are They Doing in Heaven Today by the Staple Singers. And I love this song by Curtis Mayfield. People get ready, there's a train a-coming. Don't need no ticket, you just get on board. People get ready for that train from Jordan. You don't need no baggage, you just thank the Lord. Yeah. There ain't no room for the hopeless sinner who could hurt all of mankind just to save his own. I'm sorry?
I think your DI is turned off.
I can hear it.
We're not getting any signal.
You're not getting any signal. Turn the mic off for a sec. Got it now. Is it okay now? Curtis Mayfield is rolling over in his grave right now. Talk to me. You got it now?
Yeah, we got it now.
All right. I'll try to collect my thoughts and get back into this. There ain't no room for the hopeless sinner who would hurt all of mankind just to save his own. Have pity on those whose chances grow slimmer. No hiding place before the kingdom's throne. Yeah. So people get ready for that train from Jordan, picking up passengers from coast to coast. Faith is the key, open the doors and board them. No hiding place, the love and the host, Thank you. Got a Dylan song up my sleeve for you. And an original blues. It's on the record that I'm giving away tonight. And you can see in big red letters it says free. So help yourself to my Christian album, In a Quiet Moment, it's called. And take two if you'd like, and give one away in the spirit of the season. And this song is on that album. This is called Nothing But the Blues. I've got to stop sleeping in the park. Hang on a second. Sometimes I feel like crying when I think about the love that I would lose if I didn't have the Lord. I'd have nothing but the blues. He rescued me from darkness, yes, when he paid up all of my dues. If I didn't have the Lord, I'd have nothing but the blues. There ain't no doubt about it, no. If I was left here all alone, I'd have nothing to hold on to, and I'd never make it on my own, no. Now he's always here beside me with a love I can't refuse. If I didn't have the Lord, I'd have nothing but the blues. No, 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 no. It's a shame when we hide it, when we don't let our true light shine. No. There are so many people who are on the borderline. Now he's always here beside me with a love I can't refuse. If I didn't have the Lord, I'd have nothing but the blue, woo, woo, woo. Yeah, nothing but Thank you. Thank you. I got my guitar back during that. I can't see. Is Don back there? Yeah. He's up. He's up at the booth. Yeah. Maybe you could cut down the bass a little bit more on this guitar. Just a little bit. Of notes that are jumping out at me. That's good now. Thanks. I got in big trouble one time playing a Robert Johnson song at a church. Well, that was a church. This is a Christian coffee house. My feeling is that it helps a little bit to set up a context for the song that I wrote about one of my heroes, Blind Willie Johnson, who only sang Christian blues in his career and wrote some of the world's greatest, including God Don't Ever Change. He wrote a song called Dark Was the Night, Cold Was the Ground, which is about the crucifixion. And have you heard of Ry Cooder? Anybody? You know who Ry Cooder is? Eddie does. The great slide player. His last single was a Blind Willie Johnson song, Everybody Ought to Treat a Stranger Right. And he was almost the polar opposite of Robert Johnson, but they both played slide. Robert Johnson, of course, was from Mississippi. Blind Willie was from Texas. And I wouldn't listen to any Robert Johnson songs alone at night in a dark house. Not a good idea. They're very, very realistically scary. By the way, a friend of mine who was a recording engineer went down to Mississippi to the crossroads to find the exact crossroads where Robert Johnson had reportedly sold his soul to the devil. He went down there with Marshall Crenshaw, the singer-songwriter. And what did they find at the crossroads? A McDonald's. I said, what did they sell there? McMojos? This is probably the greatest blues ever written. And it'll set up my story about Blind Willie Johnson, who only sang Christian blues, never gave in to the temptation for more money or anything. to sing anything else except Christian blues. But this is Robert Johnson's song, and then after these two songs, I'll take a little break. Glad to be here tonight. Glad you're all here tonight. Just to stay warm and cozy. Give yourself a round of applause. Just get the blood flowing. That's it. I went down to the crossroads, fell down on my knees. I went down to the crossroads, fell down on my knees. I asked the Lord above for mercy, save me if you please. I went down to the crossroads, tried to flag it right. Down to the crossroads, tried to flag it right. But nobody seemed to know me, they just passed me by. Down to Rosedale with my Retta by my side. I'm going down to Rosedale with my Retta by my side. We can still barrel house, baby, down by the riverside, yeah. All around. Run, you can run. Tell my friends all around that I'm standing at the crossroads. I believe I'm sinking down. Thanks. This is about my hero, Blind Willie Johnson. Then I'll take a little break. Blind Willie Johnson could make a guitar sing. From the time that he was 5 years old, he was walking with the king. Born and raised in Texas, could have sold his soul to play. When he went down to the crossroads, he chose to go the Savior's way, yes. Darkness of his journey must have comforted his mind to know that John the Revelator spoke of Jesus healing the blind. One day on a corner, met a woman named Angeline. They'd been married more than 20 years until death would intervene. He wrote, God don't never change. Everybody ought to treat a stranger right. He wrote, you're gonna need somebody on your bond, yeah. And was the night, yeah. On Forest Street in Beaumont, on the northern end of town. Well, a fire tore up Willie's house, but it did not burn it down. It happened in the winter, and not a soul would take him in. And he died from sleeping in a cold, damp bed. The mystery of sin. Blind Willie Johnson could make a guitar sing. And after all these years in glory, he's still walking with the King. Thank you. I shall return.
How about a hand for Chip Mergott? They don't go anywhere. Chip will be back in just a few minutes. While I'm thinking about it, John Acunzo is in the house. He's got that funky-looking shirt on. You should give him a round of applause just for wearing that shirt tonight, huh? I mean, I'm not sure I'd be wearing that. But anyway, I need to kid him. John runs a sold-out coffee house in Huntington Valley. They will be open next Saturday. They're open the second Saturday, and he also has another coffee shop, sold out 1812. Is that what it's called? Yeah. That's on the fourth Saturday. The Eddie Mann Band will be there. Eddie Mann is in the house, by the way. Eddie, raise your hand. Yeah. How many of you have seen Eddie Mann Band? Yeah, and Eddie will be there next week. So you don't want to miss that. Oh, okay, and the one in sold out 1812, which is a relatively new one, has only been going for a few times, will be the 16th. Wind and Sail will be there. And just Google sold out coffee house. It'll bring you up to their Facebook page and all that stuff. Or if you want to know more, just ask John. Listen, we still got stuff in the kitchen for you to eat and drink. Some of that money gets donated to Worthwhile Wear. When you go over to that window, on the right-hand side, there is a jar. Next to the jar, there is a sign. And on the sign, it says, for the band. Most of our artists work on a free offering. If you're able to put anything in that jar, your generosity would be greatly appreciated. Don't go away. Chip will be right back.
Signal a little bit, but we'll work around it. Yeah, it's in there solidly now. Could you check it on the box for me? I don't know much about the box. Is it all right? Good.
Okay. Check, check, check. Check 1, 2. Right, Dan. Check. There we go. All right. Thanks for sticking around. Chip's coming back up here in just 1 minute. Remember, lots of stuff in the kitchen for you to eat and drink. Remember, when you buy something over there, some of that money gets donated to Worthwhile Wear. Also, we have a container next to the window. If you bring a canned good, we will make sure that gets delivered to the New Britain Baptist Food Larder, which benefits about 600 needy families right in this very area. And we'll give you a free coffee or a free hot tea. So next time you come, bring a canned good, you can do something like that. Also, on the right-hand side of that window is a jar. Next to the jar, there is a sign, and on the sign it says, "For the band." Most of our artists work on a free will offering. If you're able to put anything in that jar, your generosity will be greatly appreciated. We will be back here at Karen's Place January 6th. Rock band once called Saw. The third week in January, Wind and Sail. February, I think it's 3rd, Vince Martell, the Vanilla Fudge will be here. Patricia and the Soul Terrier Motives later in February. March is our Blues Rock Madness Month. Stephen Bell Trio, Obadiah. Go on our website, karensplace.org. We keep it up to date with the bands that are going to be here. You can also check out our live streams off of that page as well. Please welcome back Chip Mergott.
Proud to know him and his family. I'm really glad to be here tonight. I'm always happy to play at Karen's Place, and I have done all different kinds of gigs over the years. One time I played for a luncheon here during the afternoon. It was like a ladies' lunch. Don, let me know when you want me back for the next ladies' lunch. I'm available. Okay, we went over what the least spoken phrase in the English language is. I happen to have a couple of other jokes up my sleeve, and we're in a coffee house, so I'll tell you Bob Dylan's favorite joke. He has cited this on his radio show. "Waiter, this coffee tastes like mud. Well, it was fresh ground this morning." Okay. I asked the waiter for coffee without cream. He came back 5 minutes later. He said, "I'm sorry, sir, we have no cream. Can it be without milk?" Ole and Lena. This is just the tiniest bit off color. We're all adults here. Ole comes home unexpectedly in the middle of the day, and he finds his wife Lena sitting naked on the bed. He goes, "What are you doing sitting naked on the bed?" She goes, "I don't got nothing to wear." And he goes to her closet and says, "You got plenty to wear. Here's a red dress. Here's a blue dress. Here's Sven." Sven was hiding in the closet. Stories. I am what you might call a reluctant mystic. My heritage is Germanic. I'm more into precision instruments like watches and Porsches. But I have had adventures in the spiritual realm. And as Don and I were talking upstairs about it, he said, you can't deny them. They're undeniable when they happen to you. And it's a testimony. It's part of your testimony. And after this next song, I'm going to tell you the story of my friend Ray, who was a cook and a sound man. He was a sound man for Todd Rundgren and for a guy named Ian Hunter. This is another original of mine, and if I should record a blues album someday, this will be the title track. It's called My Way of Crying. My heart is breaking, but I got no tears left to lose. My heart is breaking, and I got no tears left to lose. My way of crying is to sing and play the blues, yeah. Even when I break down, my tears still refuse to fall. Yes, even when I break down, my tears still refuse to fall. My way of crying is to sing and play the blues for you all. Are dry and weary, and heaven only knows who understands. I said my eyes are dry and weary, heaven only knows who understands, yeah. My way of crying is right here in my hands. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, I told you I was going to tell you about my friend, Ray, cook, sound man, doubled up on jobs, bitter, angry person. When he was 14, his father left him a note on the kitchen table. This all happened in Central Jersey, by the way. And the note said, I am hanging from a tree in Greenbrook Park, and you're in charge of the family now. And Ray's life was hard from that moment on. His wife left him after an extramarital affair that she had. He had a bitter, angry way of addressing the world and a bitter kind of black humor way. So when he got cancer, it was kind of inevitable, it seemed, to a lot of us. He was an electrician, too. He worked as an electrician, and he worked as a cook, and he worked as a sound man. Ray Sumlock was his name. And so when he got cancer, we were both in our 30s at this time. And so I thought, as maybe some of you have thought in your lives, that perhaps it was my calling now to usher Ray into the kingdom, to give him the gospel, and then stand by and watch in the glow of the Holy Spirit's working, that, you know, it was all going to work out great. But something happened, and it was a shock and a wake-up call to me. One night, a guy called me, and he said, did you hear Ray is in the hospital, and he's going downhill fast? And I was like, what? He was fine when I last saw him. I knew he had a couple of months to live, but it always comes as a shock, doesn't it? So I ran out the door and just went down to the hospital. And for all intents and purposes, Ray was already in a coma. So from my point of view, he was beyond hearing the message that I was going to present to him in such a heroic way as a Christian witness and testimony to him. And he couldn't hear me anymore. And I basically freaked out, you know. And I called my father, who was a much, you know, more seasoned Christian. And he just jumped in the car. This was my father's finest hour as a father to me and as a Christian influence to me. He just said, I'll jump in the car and I'll be there in an hour. He was an hour away. So in the middle of the night, I might have trouble getting through this. You'll bear with me. My dad arrived at the hospital in the middle of the night, and the next thing I knew, he was holding Ray and washing him and praying with him. And he said to me, it's outside of your hands. It's outside of your control. God will take care of this. And every night I came back, and it was painful and horrifying to watch. He didn't slip away easily. He fought it the whole way. He was cursing bleeding, a mess. He tried to get up one morning and walk out with all the wires and things attached to him. I look around and I'm all alone. There's no nurses. It was like 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, where's a nurse when I need one? My friend's in a coma, essentially, is trying to walk out of the hospital. I'm like, Ray, you can't leave, get back in bed. He's like, no, I'm leaving. Well, we got him back in bed. And finally, in the last day or two, his own mother didn't even come anymore. His mother and his sister were coming every night, and they were kind of looking at me like, why are you doing this when you don't have to? What's making you stay here? And are you ready for this? I had a little bit of insecurity about this. What was making me stay there? And Ray actually wakes up out of the coma and he looks at me and goes, "What are you doing here?" And I just thought to myself, no, that's not going to sway me. I'm not going to leave. It's a poor attempt by the enemy to get rid of me. And like I said, I'm just going to report this to you. I don't have to make any particular editorial comment on it. I'm just saying that I am just reporting what happened as an eyewitness, and I'm not like a mystic, really, but Ray woke up and he started telling everybody in the room, "I love you," by name. And people were choking. It was so emotional. It was electrifying. This guy who had been angry and bitter and had a really tough life, and all of a sudden he wakes up and he says, "I love you, Adele. I love you, George. I love you, Karen. I love you." And they're all like this, And then, furthermore, in the middle of the night, Ray wakes up for a moment and he says to me, "I love Jesus." And I said the stupidest thing you could ever say, and I'm thankful that I did, because this is why I remember that I didn't imagine it. I didn't conjure this up to make myself feel better. Ray woke up and looked at me and he said, "I love Jesus." And you know what my response was? "You do?" And his final words were, "Yes, yes, yes." And after that, the room was just filled with a overwhelming presence of the Holy Spirit. And everybody who came in the room felt this peace that was in the room, myself included. And what I came away with from all of that, besides the huge joy that I feel about that I will see my friend Ray again, but I also came away with one of the most important lessons that I ever learned as a believer, and that is, it's all in God's hands. You're not out to save somebody. You know what I mean? It's not on you. It's not on me. And I'm glad that I didn't give Ray the gospel and have him fall down. "Chip, you're right. I'm a believer now." Because I might have, in some small way, I might have taken some what's the word? Credit? Not credit exactly. I must be having battery issues, 'cause I don't have any signal again from this guitar. What do you guys think? You hear it? I guess it's coming through the microphone. But I probably need to replace my battery. Yeah, go ahead. See what you get there, Brother Don. He does everything around here. He probably washes the dishes later, too. Is that... It's low? Yeah, it must be that. Now I got a little more. I got it turned all the way up. And I'm going to choose a very strange song to play for you right now. It's by Steve Stills. There's something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there, telling me I've got to beware. It's time we stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Yeah. There's battle lines being drawn. Nobody's right if everybody's wrong. Young people speaking their minds, getting so much resistance from behind. Stop, hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. What a field day for the heat. 1,000 people in the street, singing songs and carrying signs, mostly saying hooray for our side. It's time we stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Paranoia strikes deep into your life, it will creep. It starts when you're always afraid. Step out of line, the man comes and takes you away. It's time we stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going. You better stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going. You better stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Here we go. I'm going to do a couple of more songs for you. I think I'll end on a song on the tipple tonight. This usually has the effect of getting people to sing a little bit, and if you feel like it, please feel free to do so. You know it, it goes like this. Thank you very much. I've enjoyed playing for you. I want to thank everybody here, especially Don and Dan and Marty, the kitchen gang, as we call them. This is an old gospel song. And I learned it off of the aforementioned Ry Cooder. Happy to play it for you tonight. And tomorrow at 4 o'clock at Rolling Hills Church, we're going to sing some Christmas songs together over there. So if the Spirit moves you and you're in the neighborhood, no cover charge, no ticket price. Just come over and we'll do some Christmas music. Thanks again. This is called Jesus on the Main Line. Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. You gotta call him up and tell him what you want. Line is never busy, tell him what you want. The line is never busy, tell him what you want. The line is never busy, tell him what you want. You gotta call him up and tell him what you want. if you want your soul converted, tell him what you want. If you want your soul converted, tell him what you want. If you want your soul converted, tell him what you want. You gotta call him up and tell him what you want. You gotta call him up and tell him what you want. Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice evening.
How about a hand for Chip Mergott? So, listen, we're going to thank you all for coming out. So, listen, if you have nowhere to be tomorrow, you are welcome to be here and worship with us at 10 o'clock. Not downstairs, but upstairs. If you have a place to be, I hope you are there. If you feel inclined, there is a jar on the right-hand side of that window. Most of our artists work on a free will offering. If you're able to put anything in that jar, your generosity would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for coming out. Some of you may have experienced a puzzle. I don't know if anybody did. Anyway, they're not for you to take home. But you could play with them. So next time you come, if you didn't see one or didn't get one to look at it, ask, and I will make sure you get one to check it out. Oh, somebody's putting one together over there. There you go. They're not too hard, but they're not too easy either, so it's kind of in between. Anyway, be back here January 6th with Once Called Saul. It's a great rock band. You don't want to miss them. Wind and Sail. Vince Martell of the Vanilla Fudge will be here. Patricia and the Soulterior Motives. And then March is our Blues Rock Madness month. We sell New Orleans coffee. It's great. You can't get it anywhere but here. So, I wish you all a Merry Christmas. And have a blessed holiday. And hope to see you in the new year. God bless.